You're watching the very best in local programming from CVI, Channel 3, Long Beach.
Hello, I'm Dan Cangro, and this is ViewPoint. We will be showcasing community organizations and activists in Long Beach. Tonight we have a very special guest, Vice President of the Long Beach Police Officers Association, John Rose. With him, we also have Bill Lovelace. Bill Lovelace is an honorary member of the Police Officers Association, and we're going to get a little conversation going with them tonight about the Police Officers Association and some of the charitable things that they do in this community that affect all of us. Welcome.
Thank you, Dan.
Glad to have you both here tonight. John, I've mentioned that you're the Vice President of the Long Beach Police Officers Association. Can you tell us a little bit first about yourself, and then let's talk about the Police Officers Association.
Yeah, I've been a police officer for the city of Long Beach, going on my 29th year. I've worked patrol, uniformed vice, which was patrolling on foot the old Pike zone that was in downtown.
Remember it well.
I went to afternoon patrol and then transferred to narcotics. And I worked in narcotics in Long Beach for approximately 14 years. Went back to patrol on Graveyard, and after about a year and a half there, I had the pleasure of being assigned to a task force put together by, at that time, Vice President George Bush. And that was tracking rock cocaine coming out of South Central Los Angeles all around the country. There were 24 police officers picked from around the Los Angeles area, and I was lucky enough to be one of them. And I had my state power, and I was also sworn in as federal power. And I was working cases, tracking drugs from Los Angeles through St. Louis, Baltimore, Seattle, and other parts of the country. And I came back to Long Beach and started a division of narcotics, asset forfeiture, wherein I track financial gains from people that deal in drugs. And also, when I came back, I was elected to the Police Officers Association. The Police Officers Association has been in existence for approximately 51 years. We have a board of directors comprised of 11 officers elected at large by the body. We have approximately 650 officers that are members. The board of directors has an executive board, president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. And I've been fortunate enough to be vice president for 2 years, and I'm just starting my third term.
You've been a pretty active officer, John. You've done a lot of things. You know, I know you personally, and I'm not ashamed to say that for such a likable, outgoing guy with a great sense of humor, you've been in some pretty hellacious situations from your description there. It's fantastic that you're able to work with the officers in the community and still have that great sense of humor. I love that. Bill, a little bit about yourself. You're an honorary in the POA. How'd you get involved with the Police Officers Association?
Well, basically, the president, Paul Chastain, sponsored me. I wanted to be an honorary for a long time, and since he's taken the reins, it seemed like a good time to help out. They've done a lot in the community, and that's basically what it is. Been an honorary for about a year and a half now, and
involved with the community in that way, helping out?
Pardon me?
Involved with the community through the police department and the Officers Association, has that been your involvement?
Yeah, with my business, I help out also.
Well, that's the DJ business.
Right.
We talked about that on a previous show when you were the guest, speaking of a new association. And I know you do have the DJ business, and you've performed in that function with the Police Officers Association.
Yeah, I've been doing that.
Does he do any good, John, or is the music lousy?
He'll get there.
Yeah.
You know, Dan, you've been using the term honorary. Maybe I ought to explain what that is. The honoraries are a committee of the Police Officers Association. There's approximately 625 people in the community, basically business and professional people. And they join and they get to participate in events put on by the Police Officers Association and the Honorary Association. I got to know Bill. The honoraries had a party at our picnic out on East Carson Street, and we were able to put together a demonstration for the people. There was approximately 200 to 300 people that showed up, basically honoraries and their families. And the show comprised of our SWAT team and our communication mobile truck Mach 1. And the officers on the SWAT team put on about 5 or 6 scenarios.
Great.
And I'm an ex-SWAT member, and I was thrilled to see the progress that the officers have now. And the culmination of the party was the fact that Bill volunteered to be the disc jockey, and while we were enjoying some good food, Bill put on just a wonderful show. It was raved about. Bill's also going to be the disc jockey. We're going to honor 2 of our longtime honorary members in about 2 months. Bill will put on a show. He's also volunteered to be the disc jockey at a show coming up in March, the beginning of March, where the current members of the SWAT team will honor and present awards to past members and present members of the SWAT team. And I told them that Bill would be a disc jockey there, and they were they were thrilled.
Yeah. After they got all the tomatoes bought.
Yeah.
You're talking about a lot of volunteer things. Now, let's talk a little bit about the officers' involvement in community participation, such as coaching sports teams. Can you touch on that for us, John?
I can. The association hit a low portion of their career a number of years back. We were getting a lot of bad publicity in the paper, and a lot of it was our fault. We were sometimes our own worst enemy. With the leadership of our present president, Paul Chastain, I think that we have gained a little stature in the community. We participate in numerous charities and events throughout the community, and I've been very proud to find that a lot of our officers have donated their time away from our association, and they coach Little League baseball, soccer, football, basketball, all the way up through high school football. One of our sergeants is a coach at Milliken High football, and my nephew, who is a brand new officer, been on about 9 months, was a coach there also. So we're trying to expand our involvement with the community through church events and the officers' participation.
Let's talk a little bit about the people that make up the Police Officers Association. Other than officers, the honorary roles, they come from all walks of life. We got Bill here, he wears 3 or 4 hats, the flooring business, the DJ business. Lots of people in varying positions in this city that do a lot for the community as well, apart from the Police Officers Association honorary role. A little bit about the makeup. Is there any limit to the position of a person in this town as to whether they can be on the Police Officers Association? Or are all people basically welcome to be charitable, if you will?
Everybody is welcome. We do have a screening process, and when they pass that, they pay their initial initiation fee, and then they pay yearly dues. And as a member of the association, they get to carry a small device that is like a badge. They have an identification card, and they get a plaque to place in their business or their home, designate himself as an honorary member of the association.
You know, as one of those, I would like to say, crazy people in the community that runs around doing flyers for different organizations and different charitable people that want to get things done or notices out. We'll walk around with flyers, and we're going to do one for the lights, for example, and we've done them for the country fairs and to get people together. And I love it when I walk up to a house that has that "I support the Long Beach Police Department" sticker in their window. It says a lot to me because it says that they're a person in the community that truly cares about public safety and about the quality of life. And that I'm sure that means a lot to all of us.
It does.
I want to touch just a little bit on, if we can, the Wrigley Association is one of those groups, organizations that's going to apply for this new police service center. There's been two directed or said we should put these in the NIS areas, and two have been designated as that number, and Wrigley would like to be one of those groups. We kind of look forward to it. I personally see it as a high-profile presence for the police to say, here we are, what can we do?
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Could you expand on that a little bit? I know we're going to have a police service assistant. Is that what we call those? They wear the brown uniforms?
Yeah. The one that I'm familiar with that's going to be placed on 7th Street will have I think they're the PSAs, and we have a unique program in the city of Long Beach called a dinosaur program, wherein we bring back retired officers. They work for an hourly wage. They're already getting their benefits through retirement, and it gives them a chance to use their acquired skills rather than just let them fall by the wayside. The officer that will be working at that one on 7th Street, his last part of service for the department was a burglary detective. And he retired a number of years back, and they brought him back. But therein, the people will be able to contact somebody with a vast amount of police knowledge. They can contact him at the scene to give reports, ask advice, or any other such matters as would involve them. There are two brothers, the Folks brothers, that have involved themselves very heavily in the community, and they will be in and out of that building very frequently. I agree. I think it's a good presence, and I think any type of a coordinated police presence in an area would tend to hold down the smaller type crime. The officers will use that building to stop, take a break, have a cup of coffee, write their reports, and then we'll be able to mingle with the citizens as they come in. I think it's a good deal.
Would it be fair to say that I could buy the donuts?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. We'll get the donuts. I don't know why everybody thinks officers always have donuts.
I have no idea.
Let's talk a little about the charities that the police officers are involved in. The Police Officers Association has really gone out in the community and made a huge impact. Unfortunately, you guys have got too much modesty. You don't like to talk about yourselves. Well, I'm going to try to draw you out of the closet here, and I want you to touch on some of those charities. And I'd like to start out with PAL, Police Athletic League. I know that they're involved in doing something that this community needs, and that's get the latchkey kids. Give them that don't have those parents. The parents are out working. Unfortunately, the society says unless two parents are working, there aren't enough dollars, so those kids are home alone. And PAL gives them a place to go, and it gives them the direction. It gets them off the streets and away from those bad influences such as the gang leaders. Mm-hmm. So can we start with a little bit about PAL, but I really encourage you to go right on into, I know you do Cedar House charity work. I know you get into Eagle Scouts. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay. The PAL was initiated in the city of Long Beach within the past year. Two officers were picked because of their athletic skills and their willingness to work with students. And the first facility that they used and are still using is at 1551 Martin Luther King Boulevard. That is the home of our karate program. And I believe that there's about 120, 130 kids from around that neighborhood involved in the karate program. They have a team that competes throughout the state. They are known as the Black Tigers, and they have been very successful. We also have another building that was acquired recently on the west side of Long Beach, on West 9th Street. Very large building. And people in the community, again, have donated equipment to us. There's a boxing ring there, tremendous amount of weights, and they also train, the kids come in and they learn boxing skills, how to defend themselves. The PAL program also at that location has ham operators, and they're teaching the kids to get involved with radio, other skills other than using their fist. I believe that there's about 100 kids involved in that program. The officers work normally 8 to 5, which is a joke. The officers involved there at both locations go in early and stay late. And it's not uncommon to walk by and see them doing all the maintenance and work on the buildings themselves. How they do everything they do with those kids, I have no idea. They monitor their grades. The kid has to be a decent student to get into the program and maintain a grade average. So it's not uncommon to go by a building 2 or 3 times and you're liable to see one of the officers on their knees chipping tiles, painting things in the corner, working on the equipment. The next time leaning over some kids, making sure that their homework is up to date, that they're doing everything that they're supposed to. And in the ring, working with the kids to perfect skills of self-defense and competition. We have volunteers that have stepped forward out of the community to teach these skills, and they augment the officers. The program on the west side is getting to be so popular. I was told today by Paul Chastain, our president, that the local Long Beach Transit Authority is in the process of changing their bus directions so that the kids will have direct access to that facility.
Yeah, that's highly needed. I know that the transportation corridor doesn't go through that area.
Right.
So to change that would give the kids, that's great. And I'm glad that you guys were able to work that out.
I think it's a fantastic program. I was sort of weaned in my minuscule athletic career in the streets of New York with the Police Athletic League back there. And when I heard it was being formed here, I thought it was great. And our Police Officers Association donates money and time to that organization. We believe in it wholeheartedly.
Yeah, that's something that most residents don't realize you're involved with. And that is to me the biggest asset to the community is to work with the kids. The kids are our future. And especially to be able to work with the police officers to get the image that the police officers are their friends. Because all too often they hear from those kids out on the street that shouldn't say the things they do. But it's a negative atmosphere that they run into. And working with you guys creates a positive atmosphere for the kids, and that's fantastic. Now, Bill is an honorary. I'm not going to let you get out of this, You're going to have to supply the donuts as well. As an honorary, you get involved in these different charitable events. I know that one that the honoraries were involved with just recently was the 10K run down in Long Beach. We did the water station and passed out water and that sort of thing. As an honorary, would you look to do more things with these charitable events?
Yeah, just a few months back, we did the annual golf tournament we have. And I didn't get a chance to play the golf. I was behind the scenes driving a little golf cart around, handing out goodies to the different holes. And it was a big success. It was probably one of the better ones in years they've had. I saw John out there swinging his driver.
Far and straight.
Pretty good, I might say. He's,
we got that from playing stickball in New York.
Yeah. But I had a great time. It was the first event that I got to do without being the DJ, or it was something different for me. So it was most enjoyable, and it's a good chance for a business person like myself to meet other business people and network, and I just had a great time doing the golf tournament.
Yeah, I think the whole reason for the being is to do that, is to show the community that a good time can be had by all, and yet we can still help our favorite charities in doing so. And that's a great thing to have happen in the community, and people need to recognize that.
Yeah, you also touched on that sticker that you see in people's windows, and it makes you feel good. A lot of residents don't realize what they're contributing to, and it's good that we're bringing it out now and letting them know that we, the honoraries and the Police Officers Association, does a lot of good for the community.
Exactly. We're going to touch on that right now. I'm going to turn to camera 3 here because I want the camera to see what I'm saying here. Mr. Rose has got a list in his hand of some of the charitable activities the Police Officers Association is involved with every year in Long Beach. He's got the list because you couldn't put it all to memory. The man would just be just no way. It's horrendous numbers And he's got this list, and he's going to read from it because of the numbers of things they do. I'm astonished at the numbers of things the Long Beach Police Officers Association is involved in and the charities that they do touch, the people that they help every year. And I'm going to ask John to go through some of those for you. Now, believe me, I'm going to cut him off before he gets through that list because the list just goes on and on and on. But I'm sure he touches some of our favorite charities, yours and mine out there. And, well, let's go into them. What do you say, John?
They're in no particular order. First one I wrote down is Cedar House. Very, very worthy organization in Long Beach that assists ladies in problem. And we have donated to that cause for as long as I can remember. But most recently, prior to Christmas, this past Christmas, Cedar House had a tragedy and it burned to the ground. So Chastain and the fire president put on a special Christmas party for all the participants of Cedar House and made sure that all of the kids involved were able to have somewhat of a nice Christmas. We have participated in the party put on at the North Long Beach Masonic Lodge. We assisted with the transportation for Santa Claus, gave him a police car. Chief Ellis was there. And we helped, again, through the help of the honoraries, to provide gifts and food along with the officers of the Masonic Lodge for 221 kids in the community. We have provided, in this past Halloween, we provided 2,000 candy bags, which were imprinted with safety hints to children, and they were passed out to different schools in Long Beach. We have participated in the Wrigley Fair. We participated significantly in the last 2 Daisy Christmas parades. We participated in the last Martin Luther King parade. Every year we put on an Easter egg hunt at our park, which is located on East Carson that I mentioned earlier, out by the Navy Hospital.
And you do this for the kids at the hospital, correct?
No. We do this for the children of police officers and firemen, and then we pick designated charities and ask them to bring kids. And then anything that's left over, I know Paul isn't going to like this, but he makes a special trip to children with very serious illnesses at one of the hospitals. And he has volunteers again from our police department. The last time they went to Memorial, and he had the officers from there. And they had the little talking car come in with children that are seriously ill. And we had the Easter Bunny, a police officer in costume, and they were passing out candy to these kids.
I knew that he did that, and I was going to bring it out. I'm glad that you mentioned it because, again, you guys don't, you just don't pat each other on the back, and the community's not aware of this. And I know that Paul would never mention that he did that, so I'm glad that you did.
No, it's gonna cost me dearly. We participated in numerous toy drives throughout the city. We worked with Mum's Restaurant the last couple of Christmases on Christmas Day, preparing and passing out food to the homeless. We've worked with the Cambodian community, the Hispanic Business Group, in their crusades and drives, and we've donated to them. We do sponsor Eagle Scouts. We provide scholarships to law enforcement students at Long Beach City College. We sponsored and participated in, against the fire department, an event recently called Guns and Hoses.
Yeah, I got to talk about Guns and Hoses.
It was good. It was good. We had some luck, but
I'd like to know who's. I mean, this had to come from an ad agency. Guns and Hoses.
Actually, both presidents of the unions were contacted by the lady who runs the Goodwill Industries on Pacific Coast Highway, and the way that was set up was we had a lot of gifts donated. And we had guest athletes there, Bobby Gritch, and some others. There was going to be some people from TV, but that was about the time of Hurricane Andrew, and they couldn't get away because of the demands on them. In between each inning, there was raffles, and gifts were given away all the way, including a trip to Mexico. I'm not sure of the exact amount of money. I believe it was in like or $5,000 was made. And all proceeds then went to the Goodwill industry.
Goodwill Industries, yes.
We've participated in the Operation Stand Down the last couple of years, which takes place out at the Vet Stadium, which is a benefit to the Vietnam vets.
Right.
We cooked food for the families of the Navy personnel when the Missouri came back from the conflict in the Middle East. I think we numbered somewhere around 4,000 hamburgers that day. We also cooked food for the participants and families of the service people on the 4th of July Desert Storm Parade in downtown Long Beach. We talked about the marathons. We've worked with the Salvation Army in Christmas food drives. We contribute heavily to the retired police and fire funds. We also, through our building at 911 Studebaker, help to house and fund the Retired Police Officers Association in Long Beach, which numbers about 500. We contribute heavily to search and rescue. We've sponsored participants in the Long Beach Mr. Special Olympics, and 2 years ago we were fortunate enough to win that. We've sponsored contestants in Miss Welcome to Long Beach, or Miss Long Beach. We are very heavily involved with Evelyn DuPont, with the California Pool for the Handicapped.
See, he just keeps flipping those pages. It just goes on and on.
I know I'm embarrassing myself. I think I'm just going to leave it with the fact that I'm aware that in the past 2 years, under the leadership of Paul, that our association has donated many, many thousands of dollars in hours into our community. One thing that we've done recently that I'm very proud of, again, to get back to the coaching aspect, is we've started to encourage all of our police officers that are our members to come out and participate with us and get to know the community on a one-to-one basis rather than a professional. Usually when a police officer meets somebody, it's a time of strife, whether it be a traffic citation or the loss of prized possessions through a burglary. We reward the officers by coming out and giving of their time, because it's all donated time. And you'll see the officers walking around with t-shirts with LBPOA or a ball cap with Long Beach Police Officers Association. And that's normally how they get those. And we also give them to the honoraries, because everything that we do, we work hand in hand with the honoraries. The honoraries, the golf tournament that Bill was talking about, generally generates anywhere from $12,000 to $15,000. And that money then is used along with ours for the benefit of the community.
I'd love to keep this going. We're out of time. It's amazing how fast it goes. I do want to thank you for being here, both of you. Long Beach Police Officers Association, an amazing organization. I do want to pat you on the back. You guys do a fantastic job for the Long Beach community. I'm Dan Cangro, and this has been ViewPoint, the voice for the community. We hope we've stirred your interest in community affairs. We'll see you next time.